Hello? Hello, 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 hello. March 18th, Tuesday. Good thing I have that calendar there because, as many know, something about me and dates. John Beattie. Beattie. Just to clarify with American viewers who would spell it Beatty. In fact, there was a patriotic book written decades ago by a military, John Beattie, spelled with a Y, and I think the Clyde Beattie from decades ago, the circus guy, was with a Y. I always joke that the Beattie with a Y came from Ireland, i.e. was Scottish. So here we are, Dinosaur News. Rubbing my eyes because I'm asleep like a dinosaur sometimes. The show must go on. Dinosaur News. Brought to you 5 days a week with pleasure. And I'm getting a great pleasure with the amount of likes and comments from Americans. Here we are, British People's League, and the Americans are starting to tune in. I know why. I just had coffee with a friend and trying to figure it out, and I know why. Because I threw into the hat, I threw in the ring the term white underground for the magnificent new beginnings created by Kyle Hunt in the States on Saturday, March the 15th, just passed, which was called the White March, etc. But I've dubbed it the birth of the white underground. I believe that's what we'll call today's episode, White Underground Part 2. And of course the Americans still have the free spirit with legal carrying of guns, open carry, permits, you name it. So talk of a white underground would be enlightening to them for sure. So there's that soul word again. As with history, when there were undergrounds at work, there were always above ground spokespeople. Always throughout history. Very few above ground. And no direct link with the underground, so there could be no charges of illegality against, say, someone up front, public, etc. And as I said in yesterday, White Underground St. Patrick's Day Part 1, not setting the scene for violence here whatsoever, not one iota. You can judge from history, but I'm not saying do anything other than prepare a white underground, a legal, I say legal, as long as you're not breaking the law, you can use the term white underground, for when things get worse. And they will get worse. There's no sense kidding ourselves. And as I said yesterday, I haven't liked to push the point, but I will push it. Young people with their hormones are turning to the other races because that is the catchy thing to do, the in-style thing to do. Yes, you could blame the TV, and yes, the internet, and yes, this, that, and that, but I'm saying individual responsibility. I'm holding you to it. You're an individual, and you have responsibility to use a brain. And if it's not natural, don't go for it. Go for your own kind. Like to think we're the most beautiful anyway, the women. So just to review the March 15th, fantastic day again. I mean, the photos, the coordination, the works. And I'm sure there'll be new people attracted as a result. And the enthusiasm shown, especially by the Americans, they'll know how to make the newbies feel most comfortable. But yes, also it has revived a spirit of patriotism in Australia and New Zealand, that's for sure, and Mother Britannia. It's kind of ironic. There was great activity in Birmingham, Alabama, and Birmingham in the motherland, where Birmingham, Alabama was named from, of course, centuries ago, whatever. The beauty of the demonstration also was that there was no BS because everything was provable by photographs, by uploads or whatever the technical terms. There was one fibber, F-I-B-B-E-R, fibber, okay? If you did a one-man deal, be proud of it. Be proud. That's what that Kyle Hunt fellow, the originator of the whole idea, has said, you know. Something one can do or 100 can do, whatever. But don't pretend there was a dozen when there was only one person. Don't pretend, okay? Don't build up false numbers. Don't lie about it, because then we are no different than the enemy who lies. We must speak the truth as the camera shows. If the camera doesn't show it, it didn't happen. I mean, even those signs in New Zealand were stuck beautifully by the highway signs and the traffic signs and so on. So they remained anonymous, part of the new White Underground. So they didn't say there was one or a dozen, but don't lie. That's BS. Is vanity that bad that we have to lie in these things? There was enough good, positive, terrific people like that. Knoxville, Tennessee, boy, they were wide open. You get my point. And you can say, well, is that worth bringing up a sour note? Yes, it's worth bringing up. We don't want to see it happen again. It tarnishes the individual's reputation when they overstate the truth. Well, I said yesterday, all undergrounds have a cell structure. So, there's that soul word again. I should have a swear box. Expand the cell structure wherever you are listening in, especially those who are tuned into Kyle Hunt's situation. I hope I'm not offending him. I'm just trying to expand in a different area on the success of Saturday. And do think about cell structures from those that helped on the demonstrations. And cell structures would tie in beautifully with Mr. Hunt's suggestion now that this activity from the 15th be repeated the third Saturday of every month. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Some would say, well, that's too quick. That's too, what do you mean too quick, too soon? We're being outbred. Our youngsters are sleeping with the other races. Self-extermination, self-genocide. There's no time to be lost. We got a winner here. Let's roll on the winner. Third Saturday of every month. Fantastic. And here's something to consider. I mean, those that are tied up one month, couldn't make it, whatever, they'll make it the next month. You know, there'll be some who made it, some who can't, some who do, some who can't. Another brilliant master stroke by this Kyle Hunt man. Give the Irish a bit of credit. Brilliant. Third Saturday of every month. Not too often at all. Perfect timing. Perfect. And again, to stress why. I mean, if you think things are bad in the States, I'm saying now to my new American friends, I'm sure you've heard the stories, but to really be aware of how bad things are in the United Kingdom. You take the cities, well, yeah, that's true, Birmingham, Alabama, but you've got Birmingham in Britain and Bradford in Britain, Leeds in Britain. They're totally invaded, just absolutely totally invaded. If you do some checking on the internet, you'll be able to find videos taken by white underground in vehicles as to just how bad it is. Voting is too late. White underground is the only hope left. As history has proven over and over and over again. When freedom of speech is squashed, freedom of assembly is squashed, as these videos have pointed out in the past, And yes, they'll slip in again. When you're bored, having a beer, coffee, whatever, tea, whatever, please, I invite you to click into previous videos. We've tried to be consistent in the philosophy, a chain here as to growth. At my age with the gray hair, what a sigh of relief seeing finally the key to the kingdom, White Underground, born on March the 15th. I'll probably get hell from some Americans for hijacking. I don't mean to hijack, friends, honestly. I'd just like to aim for where it can all be headed. Because when the voting is rigged and everything is rigged against us, what choice is left? To have an underground, a white underground in place for when something finally gives where there's no choice. If whites in South Africa had an underground in place, they might not be being slaughtered as they are now in South Africa or in Zimbabwe or whatever. What else have we got down here? I don't know what else I can really add. I get into new thoughts today, but I really want to stress the success of the venture. And I'm grinning, but I do find it ironic. British People's League, and we're getting all these American hits and likes and so on. Our friends at Candor in the motherland will be pleased because we're linked together through our Facebooks and the internet. That's Candor, C-A-N-D-O-U-R, candor.org.uk. For Americans who might be curious, it's book publishing, situation, cultural, historical. And you might want to click in. And as said a few times, I'll do it again if I get the three fingers right. So we've got 3 leagues going here. We've got the League of the South, south of Canada here. We've got the Candor League, and then we have BritishPeoplesLeague.com talking to you right now with the daily produced Dinosaur news 5 days a week. Check out our editorials and so on. Now, some may be thinking, well, Beattie, you're too narrow focused with just your 3 leagues named. Candor League, League of the South, British People's League. Well, there's so many thousands, hundreds of thousands of whites finally waking up. We can't focus on everybody. But if somebody new-ish is pushed into one of those 3 leagues or on the fringes and jumps in, then they can spread their wings from there. Candor League has many linkages listed. This boy doesn't. Pretty well Candor is about our only link, and I verbally pronounce the League of the South. All the fine work others are doing. The radio broadcast, the internet shows, all tops. But we just can't, on one 20-minute show per day, pronounce all the groups out there. But the beauty is there's enough white groups on the shelf to choose one that's to your liking. And no one should be saying which group is the best, which is the worst. Well, time will tell. But the one that really matters down the road is the White Underground. And everyone can partake in the White Underground, just as everyone partook on that famous day, Saturday, March 15th, 2014. Won't be able to top such an event. And as said yesterday, Kyle Hunter's Irish blood, and then you got St. Patrick's Day yesterday, all tied in pretty close. just on a serious note, the cell structure. Set up legal cells. Don't talk of anything illegal. You say, well, what's the point? What are we going to set up cells for? To protect your jobs, to protect your family situation. There are those spokespeople who have been in it for years. We have stuck our faces out on the line and our necks in the line, and we're glad to do it. So we certainly can't go underground. With your cell structure, it's all aiming towards the day when there may be some really big trouble. The white underground will be in place. And it will be in place. I know for a fact, I mean, human nature. Some of my ranting from yesterday and today is going to catch on. I don't care if it's only 5 cells that are set up. Well, the weather up here is finally a little pinch towards spring. But I still have to conserve oil, so you're still going to face the big Guernsey sweater here. When this sweater comes off, you know that Beattie's got warmth in Britannia House. And again, I meant it. I mean it. I put out a plug for a single, preferably a guy, 20s, who could take on a part-time job. You get free room and board to drive this boy around, to visit those on our blind list, etc. You couldn't give me a car. A license plate's a giveaway. Well, you could say, well, if you get a part-time driver, that'll be a giveaway. Well, that's a chance we have to take to a small degree. But seriously, if you know of someone who would pitch in with driving Beattie around for the British People's League, then get in touch at britishcanada@gmail.com. britishcanada@gmail.com. And if I don't know them, well, then someone I do know would have to vouch for this person, okay? It just can't be a total stranger. We're not going to have a total stranger walk in here. But that's all that's holding up the situation is a right-hand man. Sure, we've got lots of friends on the blind list, but they're miles apart. And that's the beauty, too, of March the 15th, this past Saturday, that those who felt totally isolated surely will be glued a wee bit together now. Even if someone's 100 miles away, get in touch somehow. But it's done the job. It's stirred up controversy. And you know the enemy is upset when the Village Voice in New York tried to snicker that there wasn't masses and masses of people. They didn't get Mr. Hunt's whole formulation. The coordination on the internet was the key, and the photographs and so on. But for the Village Voice paper out of New York to come out with a sneer afterwards, they are very worried. They know that this is the beginning of the downfall of multiculturalism in white Western civilization. This is a date that will go down in famous history. March the 15th, 2014. Well, tomorrow we'll have to pick another topic. We can't just dwell on the same forever. Again, thank you for the likes. A couple of new friends added on. And hi to Candor, and hi to our friend in the League of the South. Can't say there's any direct tie-in. Beattie hangs loose, just like with the Mr. Kyle Hunt I've never even met. Same with the League of the South. I've never met any other key people. I've got a couple of friends on the list who are prominent in the League of the South, and one particular friend. So we've got the tie-ins. The episodes are out there. It's happening. And just in time. Okay. Great at you today. Check the calendar, Beattie. It's March the 18th, Tuesday. We'll be back at you tomorrow, Wednesday, Odin's Day. March the 19th. Goodbye for now.